Hey y'all, welcome back. I hope y'all are having a fabulous day. So today we are going to do a Madam Glam manicure on my natural nails. So I am going to first be doing my cuticle work, and I am using a cuticle remover and a pumice cuticle pusher. So this cuticle remover just absolutely is my favorite. You put it on, and within 30 seconds you are ready to push back your cuticles. It takes off all the dead skin, and it's absolutely just wonderful. So I'm putting it all over the cuticle, just a little bit into the nail, and on the underneath side of my fingernail on the free edge. And then I'm going to let it sit and marinate for 30 seconds to a minute before I start working on those cuticles. So this tool is a double-sided pumice stone cuticle pusher, and I absolutely love this thing. Y'all, I have had this thing for probably 15 years, if not more, and it still works like perfect like the day I bought it. And if you're interested in something like this, you can find them on Amazon for just a couple of dollars. Super inexpensive, super cheap, and they last forever. So what I'm going to do is I use the red side first, which is the coarser side, and I just lightly scrape the top of my nails and the skin around my cuticles, just to smooth out any rough skin, any cuticle that might be left on my nails after my last manicure that has grown out. And you see all that stuff it's pulling off? That's all cuticle that was on my natural nail that didn't get pushed back with a normal cuticle pusher. Now you could do this step with an e-file, but I prefer not to because an e-file, I have found, tends to damage my natural nail, and it actually causes more issues with my skin. My skin will start peeling where I've run the e-file, so I don't like to use the e-file for this. This works just absolutely fabulous. I've never had a problem with lifting doing it this way. So as you see, I run back and forth between doing the red side, which is the coarser side of the pumice stone, and then the blue side, which is the smoother pumice stone. And it just, when the smoothing side of it, it just makes sure that there's no scratches in the nail. And you want to go very lightly with this tool because it can damage your nails, but it's not going to damage your nails like a e-file might. It just might leave a little bit of scratches here and there if you press too hard. Basically, it's just lightly scratching away any excess cuticle that might be there. And I run it under the underside just because it helps take away any dead skin that might be on the end of your fingertip or just underneath the free edge of your nail. So this is the first step in how I do my own personal manicures on my natural nail. Or for prep, if I'm going to do acrylics or anything like that. Anything enhancements. It works absolutely perfect for both. So I will go ahead and let you watch this. And I want to discuss with you the importance of both base coats and top coats, what their purposes are, and why we use them. But here you see I'm just doing a little nipping where I had a little bit that didn't come off with the pumice stone, just a little bit where it might have turned into a hangnail. So you want to do that, but be careful if you're going to use a cuticle nipper. It's super easy to cut yourself or cause any damage with cuticle nippers, which I am sure you are aware. So I will say, if you've noticed, if you watch any of my videos, you'll know that this thumbnail on my right hand side is damaged. It grows in that way. There's something wrong with the matrix and how the nail grows itself. It was slammed in a door years and years ago, and then I think that once that damage was there, my psoriasis just kind of took over, and that nail grows in all kinds of funky, and it separates from the nail. It's just a messy nail, and it just never looks quite right. But doing regular manicures on this particular nail actually help keep that damage to a minimum as it grows out. And once I am finished cleaning my cuticles, I will go ahead and go wash my hands because I really don't want that cuticle remover to stay on your nails for any length of time, if possible, because it will just continue to soften your cuticles and your skin, and you really don't want it to do too much to sit on there too long. But I don't know how well you can see it, but doing it this way has been super, super effective for me and has left little to no cuticle left on that natural nail, so I don't have much of a problem with lifting with either gel polish or enhancements. First of all, I'm going to say base coats and top coats have very different reasons to exist. Base coats and top coats are not interchangeable, which I'm sure most of us know that. So there are several important reasons to use base coat. First of all, base coat helps smooth out any ridges, imperfections for a smoother final finish, as well as it helps prevent lifting, chipping, and it prevents splitting and overall damage to the natural nail. And it does this by basically adding a protective layer between the nail and nail polish, as well as it helps prevent damage, yellowing, brittleness of your natural nails, and helps to extend the life of a manicure. Basically, it's an important step because it adds kind of like a double-sided tape to help the product stick to both the nail and the nail polish. So you'll definitely want to make sure that you're using quality products like these Madam Glam products that I'm using today. Quality products can make all the difference, and quality products can also help minimize problems that you may have with allergic reactions, stuff like that, damage to your nails. And y'all, there is a proper and improper way to put base coat on, which I will show you here in just a minute. So once I have finished up with my cuticles, I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands, get all that cuticle remover off, and just make sure everything looks clean and good. And then I am going to go in with a medium grit buffer. I don't want to use a fine one because it won't have a rough enough surface on the natural nail, but I don't want to go in with a more abrasive file because that will definitely damage the natural nail. And if you did notice that little bit of roughness on that left cuticle, on that thumbnail, it is from a skin condition that I suffer from and not some damage from doing my nails. So before I start buffing, I'm just going to go in with this glass nail file, and I'm just going to gently shape the free edge of the nails, because after I do this manicure, I'm not going to really want to go back and reshape them because that could disturb the polish that I apply. And we really don't want that because that can cause lifting and chipping and just all kinds of problems, and your manicure will not last. Now, I am very hard on my hands, and I do dishes, and I clean, and I do all kinds of crafts, and a normal manicure, doing it this way will still last me 2 to 3 weeks. So here we are going to go ahead and lightly buff with that medium grit buffer, and you don't want to use more than a medium grit. You don't want to use a fine grit because that's going to be too smooth, but you don't want to use that regular nail file, like I said, because it can cause damage, and it can actually take off too much of the top layer of your nail, which will make your nails thin in the long run, and nobody wants thin nails because they damage easily that way. And once I'm satisfied with the buffing, I will clean the nails off with some alcohol, just to make sure there's no dust particles left behind that might ruin my manicure later. But I don't know about you, but I really don't want my polish looking all lumpy and bumpy. So this is a very important step. Plus it will help keep getting any particles and dust in your polishes in the bottles themselves, which is a nightmare all by itself. Now the next step is doing a dehydrating. So I'm using this product, and I've had this bottle probably forever, and it's still at least a quarter full. And so I'm going to do 2 layers of the nail dehydrator on each nail and let the layers dry between layers. Now you don't want this too thin or you don't want it too thick. Basically, how I do it is if I rub it across the nail, it should dry almost instantly. If it doesn't, I've probably put the dehydrator on a little too thick. But once I've satisfied that I've gone over each nail twice with the dehydrator, I will let it sit for probably 2 or 3 minutes just to ensure that it is completely dry and my nail is ready for the next step. Now, because I am really rough on my nails and I do have a tendency to have problems with lifting, I am going to use this protein bond. You don't have to do this step, but I strongly think that you should, because it's definitely going to help your manicure last longer. So I put a very, very thin layer, and then I let that layer dry, and then I go in with a second very, very thin layer, and again I give it a few minutes after I put that second layer on to ensure that it's completely dry. And this will make your nails look a little bit shiny, but they shouldn't be overly shiny. It shouldn't look like you completely polished your nails, but it will just give them a little bit of a shine. And once your protein bond is completely dry on your natural nail, then you will want to go ahead and let it sit for a few minutes and make sure it's completely dry. So here I'm putting on this second layer, and like I said, it's very, very thin layers, almost like you're just barely touching it. And you want to make sure you get all the way to the edges and all the way to the free edge, just to help prevent any lifting. It definitely helps to get max adhesion to your products and the natural nail. And so we will move on to the next step. Now, the next step, I keep on hand a small cleanup brush and some acetone, just in case I have any mistakes and I get any polish on my skin. We definitely don't want polish on your skin. And the nice thing about using Madam Glam products is that they are cruelty-free, vegan, 21 formula-free, HEMA-free, and palm oil-free. So you're less likely to get an allergy with these products than some others. Okay, so now I am putting on the base coat, and here I had a little bit of get on the skin, so I'm going to go ahead and clean that up. And y'all, even if I think I haven't got any on my skin, I go ahead and run a cleanup brush anyway, just to ensure that there's nothing on my skin that I might have missed. I also tend to run it up under the free edge of the nail, just in case something has touched the tip of my finger too. You can never be too careful with making sure that nothing is left on your skin before you cure. So here is the way I learned how to do base polish. You put it on your nail and then you kind of scrub it in. If you see how I'm wiggling the brush around a little bit, it's kind of scrubbing it into my natural nail, which ensures better coverage, and it will help to make sure that it's in all those spots where you might not have gotten it if you had just done a swipe from the cuticle to the free edge. And once I've kind of scrubbed it in, then I just gently go over it and smooth it out from cuticle to free edge. And then I just go around all those nails with my cleanup brush that is just slightly dipped in acetone, just to clean up anything that I might have happened to have gotten on my skin by mistake. And then I do a 60-second cure. Well, with Madam Glam products, you don't have to do 60 seconds. You can do a 30-second and get away with it. But I am a stickler, and I always do 60 seconds. Just to ensure that my gel polish is completely cured and I have no uncured product. Which can also be part of causing an allergy with uncured product, so you definitely don't want uncured product. Besides the uncured product causing allergies, it will also ruin your manicure because your polish will start buckling. Even if you have a layer on top of it that is properly cured, then it can still buckle. And I've had it happen, so I know. So after that super thin coat of base coat is cured, completely cured, then I'm going to go in with this absolutely gorgeous nude called Lotus. And I'm going to do just a very, very thin layer, and then I'm going to cure that. And then I'm going to go in with a second layer, making sure both layers are completely cured in between. And then I am going to do a small Frenchie with these super, super short nails with the perfect white. And I'm just going to use a small detail brush to do that. So while you're watching this part, I'm going to go ahead and talk to you a little bit about top coat, aka the bubble wrap of a manicure. Now, we all know that top coat adds a beautiful shine or matte finish to any manicure, but it also helps protect and stop from chipping and cracking, not only to the colors underneath it, but to your natural nail as well. It also adds strength to your natural nail, as well as becoming kind of a sealer to the polish underneath it, and it helps the manicure last longer, usually much longer. The polish, it protects your polish basically from the elements like water, soap, just daily wear. And it just overall helps enhance the look of your nails at the final product. So it's definitely not a step that you want to miss, as well as the base coat. Now, you can do a manicure without adding the color and just use the base coat and the top coat just for a supernatural look if you so want to, but you want to make sure that you are using both that base coat and top coat in every set that you do. And if you've happened to do any nail art, or if you applied stickers or something like that, the layer of top coat will help protect that as well. And if there's any points that I may have missed about base coat and top coat, let me know, because I would definitely want to make sure that I know as much as I can about them and using them and why we use them and their general importance in a manicure. So I have talked way, way too much by now, and the video is got not too much longer left. So I'm going to go ahead and let you finish watching, and I want to say that I appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time, and I hope that in some way that this tutorial has helped you maybe master your manicures, and maybe if you've already know all this, maybe just serves as a refresher course, which we all need time to time. And I would like to thank Madam Glam for sending me these gorgeous polishes and allowing me to do this video and tutorial for you. So I really hope you enjoy, and y'all, I think this set turned out really, really cute, even though they are super, super shorties. But we all kind of need some super, super shorties every once in a while. And if you have made it this far into the video, leave me a bouquet of flowers, please. Or maybe some pink flowers in the comments. And I hope you give a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed, I hope you do consider subscribing. And I'm going to shut up and go ahead and let you listen to a little bit of music. And I hope you have a fabulous, fabulous day, wherever you are.